Hello, my name is Max, and I'd like to welcome you to another video that I've created talking about Windows 7 and things that you can do with it. In today's video, what I'd like to talk about is internet browsers and how to use them to surf the internet. Well, not how to use them, but what browsers are and what you can use to surf the internet, as well as other tools that are related to the World Wide Web and the internet. So let's get started. So, as I have in many different presentations, basic use and navigation for your Windows 7 machine. Let's go ahead and start with the World Wide Web. So basically, the World Wide Web and the internet are used to get online. And you can do many things with the World Wide Web. You can do research, you can look for information, you can look at videos, look for pictures, many different things you can do with it. Now, how do you get onto the World Wide Web, or how do you get onto the internet? Most people get onto the internet through a program application or software application, for lack of a better term, through a application known as a browser. Now, there are many different types of browsers. You have IE, which is Internet Explorer, FF, which is Firefox, Google Chrome. There are several of them, and I've just mentioned a few of the top three that most people are aware of. Not that they're top three as in performance, but those three are definitely browsers that a lot of people know about. So every operating system, or most operating systems, come with some form of a browser. With Windows 7, the browser that comes as default is the Internet Explorer browser. And I happen to have mine down here at the bottom. If you see this blue E, that means you have Internet Explorer installed on your operating system, on your Windows 7 operating system. As I said a moment ago, all Windows operating systems, or most of the ones I've ever dealt with, comes with Windows Internet Explorer as their default browser. Now, of course, you can add others, and so let's go ahead and open this one up, fire it up. When you first start your browser, it's going to take you to whatever default home page you see, or whatever default home page was configured for that browser. For most Internet Explorer browsers, the default page is MSN. MSN, or MS, standing for Microsoft company. So you open up your browser and you come to your first home page. Incidentally, your home page can be changed. I won't go over that in this video. I'll have other videos where we can go over that as well. And like I said, there are many different browsers out here. This one came with Windows 7. I don't really use it very much. As I said in previous videos, dealing with Windows 7, I'm using it as a virtual machine, or a VM. And the virtual application that I'm using for this is VirtualBox, or Oracle VirtualBox. So this is the browser. This is what you'll see when it first comes up. You can change the home page if you like. And normally, when you come up, it brings up the first, like I said, home page. This right here is MSN. You can come up to MSN and you can type in the search box whatever information you're looking for. Now that you're onto the internet, let's talk about search engines. There are several different search engines. Some of the more popular ones, the first one that I usually go to is Google. Alright, and to get to a different web address, you can come up here up at the top where I typed in Google. This is considered your address box. This is your address box. This is your search box. In the address box, we typed in the web address that we wanted to go to, and then it took us to Google, which is where we wanted to go. And then from Google, you have a search box, and in there you can type any different type of subject that you may be looking for. Okay, and that's not the only use of Google. There are many other uses you can use for Google, but right now we're talking about search boxes and search engines. Also, with your browser, if you want to get to another page, you can come up here and you'll see this little thing here, and this is for your new tab. So every time you click it, it brings up a new tab where you can type in a new internet address. Okay, and you can have as many tabs up there as your screen will allow. Alright, another way of making a tab without having to go through that this little device here is on your keyboard. If you press the control button and the T, that will create another new tab. So it's control then T, press them both at the same time, that'll bring up a new tab. Now, search engines. There are several different search engines, and the next one we can talk about or look at really quick is DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo.com. That'll take you to the search engine for DuckDuckGo. There's another search engine, and it's called Bing, and we will do a control T on our keyboard to go to a new tab, and then from there we go to Bing in the address box.com, and that will take us to the Bing search engine. Alright, now as I said before, most people who are new to computers may wonder, well, why do I need to worry about a search engine? You don't, but search engines are used for finding out different information about different things. Let's say you want to know about anything. Let's say motorbikes. Motorbikes. You just type that in the search box, press enter on your keyboard, or you could press this little button here, which is a search button, and it'll find out whatever information it has in its databases about motorbikes. And right here, as you can see, it has, when your mouse button, when it hovers over this right here, that's a link. Okay, and if you want to go to that link, you can either left click on it, or what I normally do is I right click on the link, go, and I choose open in a new tab. And the reason why I do that is because I might not want to lose my main page, because I might want to look for several different links on motorbikes. Now you can, if you decide to, go to that link directly with the left mouse button. And then if you decide that you don't want to stay on that website, if you come up here over to the top left hand corner, you'll see a back arrow or a back button. You can always click the back button to go back to your original page. So it's whatever is most comfortable for you when you're doing your internet searches. Alright, so let's go over to our presentation, and we've talked about the internet, we've talked about using browsers, and we've talked about different search engines. Okay, now you may want to talk about, this is the last thing that we need to talk about, and this is on web servers. What are web servers and what do we use them for? Well, basically, in simple terms, a web server is just a server that usually holds your website on. And that's basically it. There are several different types of web servers. You can Google each one yourself if you like. You can either Google it or Bing it or DuckDuckGo it, whichever you choose. The one that's used mostly on the internet is known as Apache. Okay, Apache is a web server that you can use to keep your web pages on. Another one that's actually created and used a lot by Microsoft is IIS. And IIS is an acronym for Internet Information Server or Services. And that's what IIS is. IIS is a web server as well. And it's used for holding and serving out a bunch of web pages. And the last web server that I just wanted to briefly talk about is this one here. You pronounce this one, as I'm told, Nginx. Nginx is another web server. I hear it's becoming, or it's quite popular among some people. And again, it's a web server, and it's used for maintaining, or it's used for holding your web pages on. And when you put it out onto the internet, when people go to your website, it will be going through, if you use this web server, it'll be going through Nginx. Nginx will serve those web pages to the people upon request. So that's basically these. Like I say, these are not the end all, best all. I'm not saying they are or they aren't. I just mentioned them only for just so that for the beginners, so that they know what these are if they ever come across them. But basically, a web server is it's like a main computer that has a lot of web pages on it. Or you may hear people say it hosts web pages. And hosting just means that's the computer that you keep your web page on, so that when somebody wants to come to your web page, they got to go through your web server, whether it be at home dealing with your own server, or you deal with a hosting company that has a web server. And whenever someone wants or requests your page to look at it, they got to go through your web server. And so that's what a web server is. And we already mentioned it, but to recap, a search engine is just an online device that you can use for searching different subjects, whether it's motorbikes, whether it's shoes, computers, anything that you'd like to do. You can search literally hundreds, if not thousands, of different types of subjects, and you'll do that with a search engine. And then we went over a browser, and browsers are just mainly software programs that are on your computer, and you use the browser to surf the internet or the World Wide Web. There are a few people that will say that there's a difference between World Wide Web and internet. That's fine. I don't care. For this video, it's one and the same for our purposes. And so for those of us who are just getting started with computers, these are the 4 things that you are going to be interested in once you get ready to get out onto the internet. So I thought I'd just make a little video about that and give some information as far as those things. Now, like I said, for most of your computers that have Windows 7, this is December 2013, so most of the newer computers that are coming out have Windows 8. But for those of us who have Windows 7, and by the way, yes, I will be making a video on Windows 8. For those of us who have Windows 7, the default browser is going to be Internet Explorer. I don't know which version or what version number it will be, but ever since they first came out, well, at least with Windows 95, they've started using Internet Explorer. And it's the default browser for many Windows machines when they're first installed. But as I said, you can choose to install a different browser if you like. Some people like Firefox, that's what I use. Some people like Google Chrome. And then there are others like Opera. You know, there are many others. Too many for me to think about and name. But anyway, these are the things that you want to know when you want to start getting onto the internet and start browsing. So that ends this video. I hope it was helpful for you. I hope you learned quite a bit. Thank you very much, and you have a good day.